a pretty decent setup, so...
Alright,
Shit with it to render it out properly.
Hello, Internet! It's 7 p.m. and I'm back.
From his new job that he can't tell you about, because otherwise he'd have to kill you.
Oh, we're just gonna start on this screen, okay.
Yes. Welcome, one and all. It is Sneaky Devil's Fanfiction Contempt Theater, joined as always by Max in Atin. And Noah's here, I guess.
Hi. I sometimes am here.
As it is a Tuesday!
Mute the stream.
Did you not mute the stream?
No, because I was doing the sound test. I was like, okay, I gotta make sure we're coming through clear.
Why have you done these things?
Anyway, as I was saying, as it is in fact a Tuesday, we're gonna go over some PMs I've gotten in response to the reviews we made like 17 weeks ago, right? Everyone remembers those reviews. Anyway. So, Commander Arbuck and Jiggerbum, if you all remember, this is the Naruto story in which he ended up in Ruby and adopted a, what do you call those things? The giant snake ones.
Taijutsu? The King Taijutsu?
Yeah, the King Taijutsus. Remember, he cut off one of the heads.
This was the one that could turn itself into anything it wanted to.
Right, yes. He cut off one of the heads as a refresher. He cut off one of the heads, injected his chakra into it, and then it just turned into a giant snake loyal to him and thought it was his father.
What the fuck did I miss on that day?
So it gets better because the snake then, apparently we do like a 14-year time skip in which the snake then becomes around 200 feet large. And now, everyone might be asking, well, a 200-foot King Taijutsu, even if it's different colors, that's gotta attract some attention, right? Well, you'd be wrong, because apparently it masquerades as Naruto's talking bear companion. Normal-sized talking bear companion. Because reasons. And actually, this PM that he sent back to me explains these reasons. So, let's hop right on into it.
You couldn't explain them in the story.
So, well, in my story, Grimm can breed like normal animals. Hence why Akuma grows. He wasn't spawned, but hatched from an egg.
Hold on. That's great, but you never explained that.
Yes,
buddy.
Well, he probably explained it chapters in, at which point it didn't matter. Now,
I'm annoyed.
As well, all King Taijutsu are shapeshifters. He has to devour the original forms to gain them. Hence why he grows. The bigger the creature he devours, the bigger he grows. Of course, this will be explained in better detail inside the story. I was thinking of having him replace his Nevermore form with a dragon.
Because that always
Hold on a minute. Where did we Where did we get that information?
This is directly from the author in a PM to me as a response to my review.
I'm talking about King Taijutu's being shapeshifters.
No. All of it's bullshit. And in response to my comment about the snake's size, yes, I know how snakes are measured, but I based his size off of King Cobra from the Godzilla animated series, which included height when reared up. Thank you for your review.
Why would you base that off the Godzilla's animated series?
Because retardation. It's quite simple, really. And now that you have all prepped yourself, you have readied yourself, you had girded your soul, let's go back to some previously talked about fictions.
Okay, maybe... Okay, I think I understand where that author got the misinformation. The King Taijutu's... Taijutu? Whatever. They have...
Dan?
Uh-oh, he just muted. Someone must have walked in.
Alright, so, Max, do you know what he was gonna say?
No, I have no fucking clue where he was going with that.
Alright, so we're just going to completely ignore the fact that Atin deleted himself and move on.
Cool.
So this is Catalyst for Revenge. As a reminder to everyone...
My apologies for that, folks. It's Christmas, family...
Right, so you were saying?
Okay, so they have been seen to merge with other Grimm, but that was another Grimm doing it to them.
Right.
What are we talking about?
Where the author might have gotten his the king snakes are actually shapeshifter thing.
Yeah, because an unknown in the manga, an unknown Grimm fused with them. An unknown Grimm fused with them.
Yeah, no, okay, yes, I know. I know about that, but you know what the author doesn't know about that I do?
What?
It's referred to as it's like deuterocanonical. It might be canon, it might not. It depends on what they decide to officially go with once things pick up with the manga. So for all intents and purposes, it's just an alternate universe of Ruby.
No, and here's the thing. Even if it is made canonical, it wasn't the King Taijutu's doing it. It was the other Grimm doing it.
Yeah, they just made a giant fuck-off Hydra.
Right, anyway, I'm just saying it's not the King Taijutu. So
ignoring that trash of the story, let's get into this trash of the story, which, to remind everyone who has no doubt tried their hardest to forget, this is the story in which all the humans were like, rah, 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 you can't do that, Council, you're mean, and joined the Reapers. And the last chapter ended with Shepard negotiating with Harbinger, to turn all of humanity into one big fuck-off Reaper, with Shepard at the helm.
How does it feel being fucked in the ass, Reaper?
So,
Harbinger.
anyway,
this
is chapter 2.
Why are you asking that question?
Do you not remember the story we had about that happened?
One of the stories that spawned this horrible brainchild.
Indeed. Year 2186. Riots have continued for the 8th day unimpeded across the globe as citizens express their displeasure at the Systems Alliance so-called deal with the super machines. Local government forces have failed to contain the rioting and in many cases have even joined the rioters as social order continues to break down. Okay, wait. So, rewind. Last chapter, it was all of humanity's behind this thing. And now this chapter, it's all of humanity actually isn't behind this thing, and Shepard's just a fucking psycho.
No, I think this is before that happened.
No, because this is the deal with the super machines. And last chapter ended with Shepard making a deal with Harbinger to turn all of humanity into a giant fuck-off Reaper that Shepard would control. For revenge.
The problem is, I'm trying to make sense of this. So that was year 2186. Can you go back to the first chapter? I'm
telling you, it's literally a continuation. 2186, January 26th. It's literally a continuation from the previous chapter.
Alright.
So that universal human decision isn't quite so universal.
Well, okay, hold on. That's not unusual for humanity.
Okay, yes, well, then the author goes, it's a unilateral decision, we're gonna sacrifice Earth to turn into a giant reaper. It kind of implies that all of humanity is like, yeah, or at least majority humanity is like, yeah, we're gonna turn into a giant reaper. But but how he has structured this is unimpeded riots across the entire globe, local government forces joining in. That doesn't exactly say, yeah, we're gonna turn into a giant reaper. That says, politicians said we're gonna turn into a giant reaper. I hate politicians. You betrayed us, Devil Spidey. You filth.
What did he do?
He's leaving.
Why is he leaving?
Because
Who's
it's
leaving?
like freaking 3 a.m. for him.
Understandable.
Yeah, it turns out most of our viewers watch our content when they're sleep deprived.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
It does. Except here's the thing. Most of them will watch about halfway through, get sleep, and then watch the VODs.
Indeed. Hackett
Which is more
sighed
alarming.
as he flicked the news channel to mute, returning his attention to the nominal world Prime Minister. Nominal world Prime Minister?
Nominal? Like, did he just claim that title? Did he...
Sir, I believe you are using words that you do not know the meaning of.
I think that's a general idea of the story.
Humanity had been progressing so well. The rest of the galaxy forced that, making us band together for protection while no alien species had penetrated to Earth. The changes had been felt there too.
No, he might have used that word right.
Really?
Existing in name only in reference to a role or status. So, literally just self-proclaimed.
Well, I mean, yes, but the Systems Alliance isn't in charge of Earth.
The Systems Alliance is just the...
They are a joint...
military.
Yeah, they're a joint space force. Hence, Systems Alliance.
You're leaving out the important... It's the Systems Alliance Navy.
Existing in name only. It's literally just there. Just because.
Well, but no, that's my point though, is he's not the nominal world prime minister. He is the world prime minister because the Systems Alliance isn't in charge of the Earth government. They are the Navy. That would be like an admiral.
Okay, I think the author is insinuating that technically he's in charge, but let's be real, the Systems Alliance is running the show.
I mean, I
I
guess.
would have thought it would be referring to the fact that they can't get any of the... They can't get humanity to calm its fucking shit.
Okay, well, let's just settle this as the author has no idea what they're doing, and if they did, they executed it poorly. Because there's so many things you could take away from that sentence that you have no idea what to take away from that sentence.
I'm not going to... I try to be the positive one. I am not going to attribute this to the author having no idea what they're doing. I'm going to attribute this to the author making their point poorly.
Anyway, so blah 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 blah. National governments worth their names, but they are all working together as a single entity now. Blah blah blah. It was all new. So apparently they one world governmented suddenly. Okay. Wait. So if they one world governmented suddenly, then wouldn't the prime minister not be nominal then? Whatever. Stephen, you have to do something, he stated forcefully. Eastern European countries named Juraj?
Triage?
Just call him JJ and be done with it.
Indeed, JJ. With China and India both saying they didn't have the resources to participate in the election. China?
What? They don't have the resources to participate in an election. What do you mean you don't have the resources to participate in an election?
China helping anyone else in world politics, XD.
blah blah blah, had been able to hold out from the American candidate by appealing to the rest of the world on the grounds that he came from a small country and thus wouldn't forget theirs.
What?
That's like saying, I'm from Wyoming. Everyone should vote for me because I know what it's like to live in Wyoming. No.
Like, the American candidate can say that too.
That's
hey,
not a basis for an election campaign.
Okay, hold on a minute. The current president of the United States won through meme magic.
Yes, but I came from small place. You should vote for me. Isn't nowhere near
My
meme
point
magic.
is that people do not always vote in a rational manner.
This is a fair enough statement. However, I am going to assume the people voting would be intelligent. Because
But we can't...
I do not wish to have my bubble burst.
Sneaky, you are an American. You are part of our political system. You have no right to make that assumption. It is disingenuous and you know it.
Who won on so I don't know where you're getting your assumptions from.
What was that? There?
I said you voted for the man who won on memes.
And?
You were criticizing that. I'm just like, where the fuck do you stand on this issue?
Blah 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 blah. I can't write. What? I can't do anything about the riots. As soon as they get into the thermosphere, they enter my jurisdiction. Okay. Yes. Okay, so the Systems Alliance is still a navy. And they were only restricted to the systems and the space of them. Okay. Despite
Tracking
the news,
so far.
the deal between humanity and super machines was not broken by the Systems Alliance. The Earth government had approved, as had the government countries. This was the deal they all signed. You can now, he was smug, emergency session, altered the Alliance's charter. When requested, the Systems Alliance may deploy onto Earth for active combat engagement.
Wait, whoa.
Hold up.
Whoa. You've now gone from, we need to stop the riots, to kill civilians in the street.
I didn't realize we were going full, like, Stalinist UMSC.
It seems we are.
Apparently, Oni has gotten their hands. Apparently, Oni is also in this.
Oh, fucking Baron Lee.
Okay, hold on. Not even Oni ever mass killed civilians. Quietly killed them. Individually killed them.
Max is huffing. Max, why are you huffing?
Do I need to mention the asteroid incident?
Fair enough.
Okay. To be fair, Oni did not engineer that. They took advantage of it, but they weren't the engineers of it.
Max, why are you huffing?
I'm just over here wondering why I'm wanting to edit a shitty meme onto a BlazBlue thing.
Do it.
I would guess that's because you really like BlazBlue.
Blah blah blah, I'm formally requesting it, blah blah blah, go down there and help against the rioters. The Russians agreed, question mark? They lost control of their missiles.
What?
Well, that's not good.
China got it back for them. So they called into the space police. Okay, so China captured Russia's missiles and said they would bomb Russia if Russia said no.
No.
I'm fairly certain you're not
no.
do that.
At some point, Russia lost control of its missiles.
Yes.
And then
China got it back for them and told them in no uncertain terms that Russia has voted for the deal with the super machines so they would help fulfill it, even if it meant calling in the space police, or they would give them back their missiles with a direct delivery to Moscow.
Yes.
They literally just said, agree with us or we're gonna shoot nukes at you.
I mean, that's pretty much just China's modus.
I understand China would do that. But my point being...
We are not contesting that statement, dear author.
But... one world government... What the hell is China doing?
Like, either have them be unified or not, like, and I understand you're saying that there's discord amongst the nation, but, like, you're defeating your own point.
That would be if, like, one of our senators walked into the Senate vote with a gun at another senator's head and was like, vote yes!
That would not be the first time that a senator has been threatened on the floor in the history of America.
I am aware! Okay! I am talking about right now. I am fully aware it's not the first time a gun has been pulled on a senator in the senatorium.
It's not even the first time one's been under the threat of grievous injury in the Senate.
Hey, we had that Kane incident back in the Civil War times. Wasn't that great?
I mean, from a history perspective, it's super amusing.
Yes,
well, I mean, to be fair, he did insult the man's mother, so...
Arn does have a point. China, international cooperation.
Okay, to be fair, it's China demanding international cooperation.
This is a fair enough statement, however, still... there is... questions.
Yes, there's lots of questions here, but let's just keep going and see if any of them get answered in this chapter.
That is a fair enough statement. Okay, alright, I have no choice. Set up the details. Well, social reforms. No one gives a rat's ass about anything but the riots. Earth has been so used to population control for the last 50 years that it's an uphill battle to change that. See if you can get tax breaks through for the families of over 3 children. That will help, and I'll see what I can find from the colonies.
Wait.
Hold on.
Wait.
That was two separate thoughts.
These are two entirely different...
I was gonna say, like...
Most of them haven't gotten it through their heads that just making 1 or 2 super machines isn't going to cut it.
Wait, so we need to all fuck really hard to make more Reapers?
Desire to know more.
You realize there is a 9-month incubation period, correct? And then after that, there's a 20-year incubation period while they grow to full size? You understand why there might be problems there trying to create more Reapers quickly, right?
Well, okay, I mean, theoretically, if the Reapers are just after theoretically, like, at, 4 months or 5 months, you could rip them out and throw them all in a pod.
Well, no, so the problem there is that the mass of a baby, so on birth, average of around 7 to 9 pounds.
Yeah, I know.
A fully grown human averages around 100 or more. And while I realize it's far more efficient to just pop the babies out, I could see a few people having problems with that.
Look, I'm not trying to defend this idiotic story. I mean, I am, unfortunately, because that's part of my job as the positive member of society here.
I mean, like...
Let's be real, none of us are positive members of society.
It's one thing to be like, alright, everyone has to sacrifice themselves for the greater good to make Reapers. Okay, fine. Everyone must also have continuous sex for several years straight to pop out babies every 5 months so we can use the organic biomass to grow more Reapers. Excuse me?
I mean, I think people would not be objecting to the sex part, but taking your child and using it for fuel is the other part I think they would object to.
There's sort of a biological imperative that says, hey, kill yourself. Not literally kill yourself, but more like, hey, don't do that. Because it's bad. you know, biological imperative that's grown with us.
Again, so just to be
Since
sure,
existence.
the genesis for this story, the basic idea for this story is
the humans,
the Systems Alliance.
The Systems Alliance got into a fist fight with the Council, and the Council like did something to them and blew a bunch of their shit up. And then the humans were like,
now we're working with the Reapers.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be clear. That was it.
Oh, okay, wait, right. That's what happened. So, they didn't save, the counselors during Mass Effect 1. They chose not to save the counselors, and all of the Citadel races were like, oh my god, I can't believe, how could you? You're horrible, terrible. And then they declared war on the Systems Alliance, and then the Systems Alliance lost, and then the Reapers showed up, because that's what the Reapers do. Right. And then the Systems Alliance was like, hey, Reapers, instead of killing us, we willingly join you. And the Reapers were like,
this is new.
We don't want a retarded Reaper.
Don't want a retarded Reaper.
Yeah, over there, that I'm Harbinger, that's Sovereign, and that's Jack. He eats glue.
What would the Human Reaper end up being?
Probably something stupid like Prometheus or some shit like that.
Overwhelming firepower or something.
The big stick.
Indeed.
I love it. We're shipping it next month.
What? Whatever. The blah blah blah, rubbing her crests, blah blah blah, she's the new counselor after they murdered Trevor. Wait, she was the first to be selected to replace the murdered Trevors. Okay. Blah blah blah, advance her people, blah blah blah, stressful, blah blah blah, Quentius, blah blah blah. All the counselors are meeting together. Blah blah blah, let's talk about the humans, blah blah blah, masked at the relay. Lol, they're so passive now, what's going on? Oh, we don't know. Are we ready for the final assault? The humans aren't going anywhere, we should not attack them. Okay, we won't attack them. Deep in the Citadel, the Ascended were years late, however, glory would come anyway. Blah, blah, blah. Full occupation, no rubber... What the fuck?
When did... Oh, boy.
So apparently quelling the riots by shooting the rioters didn't work. So now we just have to kill everyone.
Alright, this is not Oni anymore. This is some literal fucking Lovecraftian cult type dumbass shit.
Okay, the deal with the super machines gave them 45 days before processing began. The world was now in chaos. Some areas were pacified.
Wait a minute.
What?
Hold on a minute. 45 days before processing begins.
Yes.
We've seen the Reapers emptied Earth in a matter of weeks
Wait
to
a
make
second.
one Reaper.
Wait a second. 45 minutes still processing. How quickly does he think babies grow?
That's what I'm saying. Hackett's like, we need to have a lot of kids to make more babies. But you have 45 weeks.
45 days.
Oh,
Not
45
weeks.
days? I thought it was weeks.
No, days.
Maybe there's just some incubation thing?
But even if there's some kind of magic incubation thing, like, first, you have to quell rioting. And that's been going on for 8 days. So you've lost 8 days out of your timeline already.
At this point, it's like actually like 16 or whatever. But yeah, so okay, this person doesn't know how governments work and how fast governments work. Yeah, author has no sense of time. Okay, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. I have that covered. Blah blah blah. Blah, blah, blah. What, how, first shipment was meant to be volunteers with a ballot. I know what the ballot is meant to do, and I'm not leaving Shepard with the dregs. When the fuck did Hackett become fucking, like, noblesse Stalin? There's a large contingent of troops who want to be the first. Shepard's squad has volunteered because Shepard's gonna lead the charge.
Lead the charge? What?
We're hiding what's going to happen. Why don't we tell the truth? Mr. Harper, do you want to tell the masses we'll get melted into goo? It's all in the sale. Loss of your physical body, but the process provides immortality. The troops weren't afraid of the process. If we can sell immortality, that would help. What? There's venom in his tone, but you don't like it, and what will I like? We can't stop the rioting on our own. There's 40,000 sentient ships in Seoul. Blah, blah, blah. 3-stage plan. Blah, blah, blah. Humanity will calm down. We have to bomb them with nukes?
This is some modern warfare level.
What happened to harvesting them, though?
What the actual hell is this story? Well, we need to quell the rioting so we can make a Reaper out of the humans on this earth. How should we quell the rioting? Have you tried nuclear strikes yet? No, I haven't tried nuclear strikes. I think that will quell the rioting.
Okay, valid point. It will quell rioting. Not in a productive manner, but it will stop rioting.
Honestly, at this point, I'm just impressed the author managed to pick up a fucking keyboard and mouse to type this with. Like, sweet God.
Oh, boy.
Okay, how do we know the Reapers won't just kill everyone? They are! Holy shit.
Like, I don't know how much we have to say this again. Like, they already are killing people.
How do we know the Reapers won't just kill everyone? Well, we have to nuke our people first to find out.
How do we know the Reapers won't just kill anyone? Part of your deal is to be turned into goop for a Reaper.
Okay.
Moving on, I think.
Okay, no, we're finishing this. Blah 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 blah. If no one fucks up, we can provide the Reapers with their material they need and ensure a growing population.
Concern.jpg.
Growing population, but y'all being gooified.
So what, the parents are going to be required by law to have 5 kids and then you go and goop them? Like, what? How is this plan even supposed to work?
Maybe if you were on, like, maybe if this was Star Wars and you could safely flash clone people.
Yeah, or not even that, just like, maybe if, like, each person had, like, 10 kids each, and then at the, like, when they turn 50 or something, they go and get gooped, and that process just repeats. That, like, that would keep a stable growing population going, I guess. But you're like, oh, let's get tax breaks for people with more than 3 kids.
Tax breaks don't matter.
That's not gonna make people have kids. Hey, let's give tax breaks to people with more than 3 kids. That'll make them have more kids, and then we kill them. You know how much people it takes to make a Reaper? Like,
A planet's worth. Literally planet's worth.
Yeah.
We saw this.
Like, we need family tax breaks and large funds set aside for death pensions. Where are you going to get this money? Immortality will sell itself. We have to make them all heroes. No pregnant women. No women below 30 who hasn't born at least 2. And we may want to make IVF cheap. Yeah, at least the Prime Minister is intelligent. Where am I going to get this money? Yeah. I'm sure our allies would be happy to contribute to this effort. And if they fail to be patriotic enough, you can kill the military budget. I can't repurpose that. That made Hackett laugh. There's 40,000 sentient machines in Seoul. We made a deal with them and they won't let the council near Earth. All we have to do is get through the first few months. There won't be much of a military anymore. Pension for the family in lump sum or ongoing payments. And a month-long holiday with the fam. You are literally talking about the entire population of the Earth.
But my politics are evil.
Holy crap. I think this author is like just beginning high school or something. Or just got into like politics 101. Because they clearly either have both no sense of scale, no sense of speed, no sense of time, no sense of mass. They're literally failing in every aspect of reality. I'm done. Just
already done. We're already done for the night.
I just can't do this. Alright, let's get a different goddamn story in here. No, not Halo Ruby. No, can't do more space right now. I need less space. No, why did you get rid of that? Okay. No, that's more Halo Ruby. Shit. Harry Potter. Sharingan Harry Potter. Book 1, New Bloodline. Excellent.
Look, it cannot possibly be worse than any of the 314 crossovers Harry Potter has with Gundam Wing.
What?
Oh, that's right, you weren't there for that. I was looking for story ideas, and I was like, let's look at Gundam, because Gundam's already going to be terrible.
By the way, Arn, I did in fact pick up this story before your server talked about it. Alright, so the author, to give you an idea of how good this story is going to be. The author's name is Shinji the Good Sharer.
Alright, author, I'm sorry, but that name is very, very rapey.
Nailed it. Harry bought as many books as he could on magic on his first trip to Diagon. Now, through the purchases of an old journal, he has a Keki Genkai. This is exactly what you think it's going to be.
Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Important notice, someone hacked my account and deleted almost all of my stories.
They did the world a favor.
They have done thank you
they have
stealing my thunder.
Thank you, thank you, person who have hacked this account. We appreciate your daily service to this nation.
Humanity is grateful. Praise be
Humanity
the
has been approved by this decision. Alright, it has been a week since he started it. Harry Potter had made his first return to the magical world a few short days ago. He was a scrawny little boy with messy black hair, a lightning bolt scar on his forehead, and haunting green eyes. The difference between Harry and other unwanted orphans was that Harry was a wizard and able to use magic. Apparently, he had been the only survivor and supposed defeater of a man named Voldemort, who was the last Dark Lord.
Okay, hold on. I want to point something out. Voldemort killed a lot of people. Harry Potter's situation is actually not that unique. If you leave aside the stopped Voldemort because of something his mom did, his situation is in no way unique for the time he is attending Hogwarts. There are a lot of people who had their parents murdered by Voldemort and were made orphans.
He was the only one to survive him.
Although I will think, to be fair, most of the parents that we do know that were killed by Death Eaters, not by Voldemort himself.
Still Voldemort.
The point is, there were many orphans that were also wizards.
Ricky, that's like being like, well, technically Hitler didn't kill any Jews. The people in the camps killed the Jews.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, I'm the only devil's advocate here. Get the hell out. This is my job. Anyway. Blah, 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 blah. Harry's famous. Everyone thinks Harry's their savior. A week ago, on his 11th birthday, he was visited by a giant who took him to the magical world. Blah, 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 blah. Family. He was beaten, starved, and badmouthed. One of these things is not like the other.
Come on.
What is he in for? Oh, he's in for murder, rape, pillaging, grand theft, and jaywalking.
Oh man, keep me away from him. That's rough, man. Yeah, I know, the murder, the pillage, the rape. Nah, man, anyone can do that. But to just walk across the street? Have you ever been to Chicago?
Anyway, but yeah, it's like, he was beaten, he was starved, and they said mean things to him. Excuse me?
No, for real. People in Chicago, they just cross the street. They're just like, oh, what's that? The light's red and it's rush hour? Time to cross.
Well, I mean,
they
they're gonna die anyway.
They can't hit all of us.
They're gonna die anyway. Fucking gunshots in Chicago. Anyway. Blah, 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 people ostracized him, blah, 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 parents enrolled him, blah, 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 canon stuff, blah, 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 spurged on a portable library, which was an ornate wooden box that had every book that ever existed!
No, that had a copy of every book in the store.
Which wasn't as many as Harry would have liked. It was endless, so Harry would never need to get bookshelves. All he had to do was tap it with his wand and recite the books he wanted, or the book he was looking for. When he opened the box, it would be inside, or he could put his hand in to get it, since it was literally an entire library and much larger on the inside than it was on the outside.
Okay.
There was even a brightly lit reading area.
Here's the problem with something like that. There's a reason that in D&D, you have to write down all the stuff you have. Even if that stuff is in, say, a bag of holding or some other form of pocket dimension, you have to make a note that you have it. Because otherwise, you'll take that potion of greater healing, put it in your bag of holding, and you won't remember it until after you've died to the beholder.
Exactly. No, to be fair, Arn, aside from the library being endless, we were already shown that from Moody, you can in fact have an apartment-sized room in there. I mean, you're not going to be able to do because as far as we know, it was a cave-like structure or a wood structure. Or whatever. It was an apartment-sized room. TLDR.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say,
it had nothing in it, though. Yeah,
it's a normal tent that contains.
Well, no, I was talking about the chest, because Moody had a trunk that he was kept, locked up in. But so there was no running water in it. There was no magic inside this chest. So because it was a chest for other things as well. It's like multiple ways to open it, and each way to open it would be a different container.
Yeah.
And one of those containers happened to be an apartment-sized room. But there was nothing in this room. So, yeah, it wasn't an endless library. So I can see a chest with an apartment-sized library in it. That's understandable. An endless, ever-expanding library inside a chest.
Well,
not so much.
Now, to be fair, Moody's chest had multiple ways to be opened, which indicates that
again,
the apartment was only one piece of the storage. I'm saying...
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying, though, is you could have a chest with 5 apartment-sized rooms in it, but not an endless chest with endless sized
not
rooms.
Endless. Yeah. But you could put a hell of a lot of books in there, to the point where it might seem endless.
Yeah, as Arn says, many stories, however, do this really stupid trope, in which they're like, oh, do you wish to buy the apartment chest? Oh, wow, an apartment chest? What comes with it? Literally everything you could ever need. Oh, wow, that sounds great. How much does it cost? 100 galleons, because I don't know how pricing works.
You know what? It'll just be like 100 galleons, even though, like, a killer broomstick costs, like, 10,000.
Yeah. So, anyway. Also, I would like to point out that Rowling also doesn't know how economy works, and the fans worked out how much gold would actually go for in terms of pounds to gold. It was around either 15 or 50-ish. I believe it was 50-ish.
I mean,
anyway, point being, it wasn't
dive deep into Harry Potter lore.
Rowling said, well, no, this was a thing that Rowling said in the books. Rowling said in the books that 5 pounds equals 1 galleon, except the galleons were 100% gold.
Oh, that's just a case of a lazy author who didn't read research.
Yeah, 5 pounds to a galleon in canon, and that's goddamn retarded because the price is like fucking either between 15 pounds to 50 pounds, depending on, you know, the market and etc. But still significantly worth more, and there has been a few stories out there who did make fun of that by literally making Harry go, well, I'll just change my money for galleons and then sell the galleons as melted gold. And then change that money for galleons, and then sell the galleons as melted gold, and just makes infinite money with it. Anyway, so
man, why does this guy keep exchanging galleons for pounds? Because I'm going to become a billionaire in about 4 minutes.
Yeah, indeed. Some other stories have actually fought that trope, I guess you could call it, by having Harry try to do that, and then the goblins being like, lol, you stupid retard, we have spells on the galleons that make them unmeltable. So that way, you can't melt them down.
Okay, but even if they're unmeltable, if it's a piece of solid gold, you could take a bunch of gold coins, go to a goldsmith or a gold collector.
You couldn't take too many, though. You would be able to maybe get, like, I would say around 10. But even then, there's artifact laws, and you would have to have a history for them. And
true.
There's so much legality around that because the
But melting the gold wouldn't work any better because people keep very strict track of their gold. Like, if he shows up with a bunch of unmelted gold, that's its own bag of worms.
I'm aware. However, it's significantly easier than trying to pass off coins.
Yes.
But significantly easier is like, hey, climbing razor wire is significantly easier than getting, I don't know, a stove oven iron shoved up your ass. You know, like, it's just like, okay, well...
Okay, those are very different things, sir.
I was gonna say...
Not that either of them is a simple task, but they are radically different.
That's my point.
One is actually accomplishable. The other is pretty much guaranteed to result in death.
Crawling over razor wire would also result in death.
No, not necessarily. You can crawl over razor wire and not die.
Okay, yes, technically speaking.
A thick enough coat can keep you safe, for crying out loud.
Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Point being, you get my point.
Yes.
Also, supply and demand is effect. Anyway. Blah blah
It's a
blah.
stupid trope. The authors who do it are stupid.
Right. So
Both
don't do
ways.
it. Naturally, his first search was for a book that had a spell that would fix his eyes. Okay, well, at least we're actually getting around that. Years. That's a fair point. Only only the really old people had any eye trouble. I don't remember anyone else in the entire series having eye trouble.
Yeah. I mean, so maybe... Do you think, like, Hermione knew that there was one and just never told Harry about it?
It's possible.
I mean, probably.
Anyway.
Let's be honest. Hermione's the kid who would have damaged her eyes reading under the covers.
Probably. Blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah.
I found this book on Resurrection. Why didn't you
Blah
tell me
blah
about it?
blah
Because I
blah
wanted to read it
blah
myself.
blah blah. Found several books, but to his surprise, he found answers in the rare book he brought separate from his library. Wanting information on all the kinds of magic ever, he bought all of the one-of-a-kind or unable-to-be-copied books this shop had. The several million gallon trust fund.
What?
I don't think you know what a trust fund is?
Yeah. It's not how a trust fund works.
Wasn't even dented by it. Really, the several million gallon trust fund wasn't dented by only book in existence.
All of them. Like, remember that. Only book in existence. Which one-of-a-kind book are you looking for? As many as I can find in this store.
Literally one-of-a-kind objects these days, in modern times in international trade, start in the $1 million range.
For crying out loud.
Your trust fund
how
could pay
expensive-
for one book. Maybe.
Do you know how expensive it is? Like, a mint condition copy of Superman #1. That's not even that rare. Goes for like $11 million.
Okay, yeah, galleons are the size of hubcaps. Jesus Christ, and that's 100% purity on the gold too.
They're the size of hubcaps? Really?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, apparently. Okay.
Since when are they hubcap sized?
That's what the Wikia says.
I distinctly remember. Now, granted, this is the movie, but
Yeah,
I distinctly
again,
remember
this
the
is the movie.
depicting them as
This
normal
is the book.
gold.
Yeah, this is the book, though. And we all know how J.K. Rowling was freaking retarded and doesn't know actually how to write. Well, I mean, sort of knows how to write. She was good with themes and tropes. Not so much outside that. Also a little bit racist.
Also, maybe a tiny bit racist.
Like, actually.
The normal cosmic tropes.
Here's a tiny little factoid for you guys. In the movies, J.K. Rowling had complete control over the casting and what happened in the movies. And, whatever her face, Brown, Lavender Brown, or whoever who the hell she was, she had one line in one of the movies. Before the movie she had the line in, she was black. In the one movie, and from the movies from then on, that she had the line in, she was white.
I don't know the truth of that. I will say it's not uncommon for authors to retain creative control.
I know, I'm just saying, J.K. Rowling herself was the one who changed out the actor.
Look, that is not relevant here, and...
I know, I'm just saying, it's a little factoid. Average diameter of a hubcap is 15.
You okay there, Sneaky?
He's boggling at the amount of gold.
It's okay, Sneaky.
And they haven't invented an IOU system yet. Oh, yes! That is several hundred galleons, please. Alright, well, let me just get my 15-inch gold coins out to pay you.
Alright, hold on a minute. They have magic things that shrink things. They have magic chests, like...
I am aware that they might all carry around pouches that like shrink the coins and then they enlarge when they come out or something. But still, even a half inch, like 350 cubic inches in volume of 100% pure gold, and that's £5 in British money.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and look at, like, I can't believe that their hubcap diameter.
What's up? J.K. Rowling. And anyway, oh god, this is the section of the show where we all learn things that we'll never need again, but were relevant to this very moment.
Welcome to our entire life. Okay, hold on. I'm on the wiki.
All right, so
blah
blah blah blah blah blah blah. Here we go. Found
about size.
The answer to his needs was found in an ancient book about blood rituals titled "Bloodline Creation" by Senju Tamura.
Ho 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 ho! Hold the fuck up, motherfucker.
Come on, motherfucker.
He's there with Hagrid.
He would need to do a blood ritual skill on his palm. This would create a Kekai Genkai, which was a power only the user could use. The ritual could only be used once on a person and would create a power only they could use based on whichever bloodline they choose to make. The ability would be from then on hereditary, but would only be able to sire inside the family. But only the sire of the family, the one who used the ritual, would be able to make use of the full power of the ability without any drawbacks.
Okay, I want to once again put something out. First of all, this is his first trip to Diagon Alley. He is there with Hagrid. Maybe Hagrid would let him buy an endless library. In fact, Hagrid would be like, good for you, Harry, focus on your studies. Pretty sure when Harry went, hey, Hagrid, I want to get this book on blood rituals, Hagrid would be like, no. That's a solid no.
Harry, I think we need to go talk to a good friend of mine. And who would that be, Hagrid? Oh, his name's Dumbledore. He's gonna smack the Voldemort right out of you.
He's gonna smack the Voldemort right out of you.
I want a t-shirt of that.
I'll get on it as soon as I'm done creating a Bane post.
That's gonna be our first t-shirt we're gonna sell. We're gonna smack the Voldemort right out of you.
Oh wow.
Just get an angry chibi
No.
What's your angry chibi Dumbledore?
That would be minorly.
Wow, gold took a hit after 1980. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's because everybody switched off a gold standard.
That's yeah, exactly. That's my point. Translated to 1980 gold prices.
Yeah, 1980 was $850.
Yeah.
Now, granted, and you gotta remember, the dollar was stronger than the pound.
Yeah. Yeah. £5 to a galleon.
You went to the trouble of saying, I said this in 1980s that they couldn't just shoot Voldemort with a gun. But you couldn't be asked to look up a conversion rate for... at all? Like...
No, she was actually asked about why she said it was £5 to a galleon. Okay, so 1990. But anyway, point being, why it was £5 to a galleon, and she said she didn't know the prices, so she just made a number up that seemed sensible.
But just to be sure, when was she writing these books?
In the 90s.
Okay, so the internet existed and was not uncommon.
When was the first book released? 2000?
First book was in November 14th of 2001. No,
Okay.
wait, that's the movie.
Oh.
So yeah, probably 2000.
No, actually, even earlier than that, because remember Harry Potter had to get popular first, and they'd take around 1 to 2 years for a movie?
Oh, 97.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm only 4 years older.
I was
than
just saying,
Harry
A,
Potter.
we're old.
Yeah. A, we're old. B, yeah, Rowling should have known better. Alright, so, anyway. Blah, 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 no drawbacks, blah, blah, blah. After he had his ability, he would nick his thumb and put it onto a piece of paper on the back of the book, which would then tell him every single detail of his ability and all of its drawbacks.
What? Oh dear.
Wow.
Well, Ricky left.
He does know he can't just come back, right?
I'm not bringing him back.
I don't think he wants to.
I don't particularly blame him.
Ooh, okay. Now what do I want it to do? He looked at the book. Different seals to great different bloodlines. Elemental abilities to making the user impossible to catch. What caught his attention were powers based on the eyes. I want to see without my glasses. I want to learn faster too. Let's get the Sharingan. He put those thoughts into his mind as he drew the seal in his blood 12 times.
Where is he doing this? How is he getting the ability to... Okay. Let's say that you can do this in the Harry Potter universe. This would be some hyper-advanced... Arithmancy?
Arithmetic-mancy, whatever. Yeah. Point being, yes, it's going to be really, really stupidly advanced, and a person who has literally never seen magic before should not be able to do this.
Like, maybe if you'd said, oh, it's year 4, and he really needs an edge to beat Voldemort.
Or, the Triwizard Tournament, he's searching for something to give him an edge, and he finds this ritual, and he's like, well, fuck, okay, let's do this.
But this is an 11-year-old boy.
Yeah, this is an 11-year-old boy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And listen here. If the works of H.P. Lovecraft have taught me anything, it's that you need to make sure you draw those things right. Otherwise, you go from summoning a completely obedient, world-destroying deity to summoning a disobedient world-destroying deity.
Glowing, the seal filtered into his body. It wasn't painful, it just made him shiver. Small mirror he had taken. His eyes were now blood red with 3 black commas in each its tomo. Get it right. Slowly they faded back to black. Hi gamer. Okay, so basically the TLDR of the story we just covered is Harry creates the Sharingan because he finds a one-of-a-kind book that for some reason doesn't cost millions of gold to buy. And
you can't just bring yourself back in. You forgot that, didn't you?
And
you want to know?
Literally economics. We learned things about economics today. We learned things about J.K. Rowling's intelligence. We learned things about this author's intelligence. We learned about Britain. We learned about gold. We learned about the U.S. dollar and why gold-backed currency was an intelligent thing to have. We're all just anarcho-capitalists now.
Excellent.
Don't think that's how that works.
Speaking of anarcho-capitalism, Discord just fucking shut down on me so it would reload and tell me, hey, the FCC is still a thing.
Yes, the FCC is a thing. So question, do we go on to the next chapter? Do we save the next chapter for next Tuesday? Or do we move on to new story?
Save the next chapter.
All right.
Tuesday.
Next chapter, Tuesday it is.
Well, hold on, Max, what's your vote? And Sneaky, what's your vote? So
I want to save this. I want to read more of this absolute train wreck of trash.
Right, but I'm saying, do you want to read more right now, or do you want to give yourself some time? Do you want to wait a week?
Well, this hasn't induced rage into me. It's just induced disbelief. So it's up to Max, really.
Oh, I really don't give a fuck. Like,
Fair
do
enough.
what you guys want. I've been mostly ignoring this, editing together a shitty meme.
Excellent. That's an appropriate use
By
of
the way,
time.
we are at the 1 hour mark. Atin, you seem like you need a bit of good cheer. You now have access to Okami HD on Steam.
I am also poor.
Oh, hey, it tells you.
You're also connected to the family sharing.
Oh. Hey, I wonder if that means I can get the courier.
I don't touch my courier.
What? Oh, like you're going to use it? We can't even get you to play the game.
You don't even play the game.
I will just sit in the training mode and just stare.
Well, then go
at
do
that
it.
adorable little courier.
Anyway,
You know what?
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna watch the game right now.
Atin.
Stare at it.
Okay, so Maxim Dick's nose hair. What's your opinion? Do we save it or move on, or read more?
Let's save it.
All right, so
Let's
we have
save
one
the people
save,
suffering for next.
one read more. What was yours, Atin?
Mine was save it for next week.
All right,
Come
save
back
it for
to
next
me.
week. It is.
Cause you know what? Hey, at least then we'll be like, we know there's something we can read.
All right, so you guys ready to rev your trash engines because this one's gonna be good.
Oh no! Oh no! No! What is this?
Welcome to Assassin's Creed Ruby.
Oh no.
Hey, it can't be any more disappointing than the Gundam Ruby one we read, Max.
I mean, it always can be.
You can kill an assassin, but you can't kill the Creed. Altair, Ezio, Connor, Edward, Arno, Adwalde, and the Fries have done their part for the assassins. But they aren't done. Alive in the world of Remnant, they lead new lives as combat students at Beacon. However, as evil forces draw close, they must rely once more on the assassin in each of them to protect the freedom of everyone.
Hold the phone. Hold the phone. The assassins, they're all going to be alive in Remnant, are they?
Yes.
Interesting. But what about the fact that of 4 of the ones listed, no, at least 3 of the ones listed, they're from the same bloodline. Meaning that in order to get to Ezio from Altair, one of them... Just fuck it, I give up. There's no point.
Don't you know they all got reincarnated into Ruby?
At the same time, though, like...
Yes,
really
all
not
at the
much
same
point.
time. Patch Ruby's point of view. It was a cold winter in Remnant, as the vast expanse of forest behind her was covered in white snow. It was peaceful, and that was how Ruby wanted it. She only wanted to pay her respects to the mom she never got to know. She cared not for the biting cold. She only wanted this time under the full moon to spend time alone with her in summer. Ruby turned to leave. She would talk another time. She began to take a walk through the snow-covered forest. It was calm and quiet. Too quiet. She sensed something dark, something with killing intent for hatred all things human. As she reached the clearing, her suspicions were confirmed. Standing in front of her were a pack of Beowulfs, ready to strike and tear her to pieces, with their blood-red fangs and eyes looking like they could almost drip into the schnee. Ruby only stood there ready. As the first creatures came forth to strike, she was gone in a cloud of rose petals and leapt in the air, with her silver eyes shining with determination and calm like that of the huntsman she longed to fight alongside with. It was her turn to strike. She quickly unholstered her weapon and aimed. A perfect shot cut through the Beowulf's head, causing more to come forward. Ruby landed before flipping over another Grim, shooting down and killing it. Then, bringing her weapon forward, she shot down another Grim and quickly burst a shot to her right, where another Beowulf nearly hit her. She rolled backwards from the recoil and began to transform her weapon into a fucking humongous scythe of Final Fantasy proportions. Crescent Rose was ready to lock and chop. Alright, I'm going to go. Excuse me, fellas.
Oh, he just left. Okay.
Alright, bye, Sneaky.
I'm gonna get some water and some alcohol.
Alright, everyone, I guess we're on break.
Cool. So, how's the audience? Oh, well, Arn has abandoned us.
Oh boy, we're all alone. It's all alone.
Well,
just
Gamer
us.
might still be there.
Wizards.
I think he is.
Well, then I feel sorry for him. You know, for
That
our
face when everyone
and not for
watching
our
us.
glorious return, our viewership is awfully low. Come
Probably
on, guys.
because we were gone for a
Pick it
while.
up. Yeah,
And
you're right.
we're
We gotta get back to torturing ourselves on the regular so they see we're committed.
Yeah. I guess.
Alright, I have brought 80 proof vodka and a bucket of water.
Never mind, we're no longer on break.
Okay, you do realize that you cannot currently list vodka as a business expense, right?
Vodka is always a business expense. Especially when you deal with the stuff I deal with.
This is not Russia.
I beg to differ.
I am not wearing a hat. I am not afraid to criticize the leader of my government. This isn't Russia.
That is a fair statement.
That's why I made it.
Alright, well, down the hatch, the first one goes.
Oh boy.
Whew, wow. Boy, that packs a kick.
It's 80 proof vodka. What'd you...
Woo!
Fucking God.
Oh.
Ah.
That's why this all looks familiar.
Oh?
Yeah. He's just... It's just the red
This
trailer.
is the red trailer, yes.
Yeah, no. Well, it's been obvious. It's been the red trailer since it's like I want to pay respects to my mother's grave. It's like okay, it's the red trailer.
Here's
And
the
while
thing,
this isn't a
I was
badly described fight scene. It's
We've literally already seen it.
Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna
Like-
say part of it is it's a little bit cheating because everybody who's going to be reading Ruby already knows what the red trailer looks like.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's a bit,
It's also no offense, like yes, sometimes fight scenes do need to be described. And people need to understand, if they haven't already somehow figured it out, then they're idiots, but then they need it spelled out for them that this is the red trailer. Okay, fine. But
what brought on the drinking for me was the fucking humongous in all capitals scythe of Final Fantasy proportions.
yeah.
Hey, there's lots of people out there that don't play Final Fantasy and have no goddamn idea what that is.
Yes.
B, not everything's big in Final Fantasy. C, which Final Fantasy?
I was gonna say, look at Lightning. Lightning's sword is perfectly reasonably sized.
Anyway, so blah blah blah, red trailer, blah 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 blah. Balanced herself on the hill, blah blah blah. They came at her, but she began to twirl her weapon like any 15-year-old girl could. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Oh, good! Another author using the trope that Montium is God. Blah blah blah.
Guys, we get you're trying to pay respect to him, but A, it's more than a little creepy, and B, Monty already made gods in that world, as we're learning this season.
Yeah.
Now, to
See,
be fair,
well,
We
Just
started
probably-
learning that last season, too.
yeah, I was gonna say we started learning that last season. Now, while this could easily be an older episode, it's really like no one's writing fan fiction for the Wheel of Time and making that guy the god of that world.
Yeah.
It's just really, really creepy.
Yeah. Blah 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 blah. 30 or 40 Beowulfs in total. Were there really?
I mean, there were quite a few Beowulfs.
Okay. There should be no problem. She dashes forward, blah blah blah, kills them all. Victory pose. Pack Alpha jumps at her. Oh no, I'm about to die. She couldn't sense anyone else. A darker presence with burning vengeance, with a greater desire for blood than even the Beowulfs. And then a loud bang, thick smoke covered the area. Beowulfs were confused but sensed the presence. A whimper from a grim was heard before metal pierced flesh and the thump of a body hitting the snow. The smoke cleared and all 10 wolves were dead. The Alpha looked at the girl in red, charging to rip her to shreds until Ruby saw him. A young man with white hoodie, bracers on his arms, and red sash, blah blah blah. He sprinted towards the Alpha, leaping on the corpse to gain leverage, jumping into the air. Bloodstained blade extending from his left wrist, landed on the back of the Grim, shoved his blade into his neck, and Wolf died instantly.
Edgy.
Okay, look. The assassins are quite powerful as human beings, but they are human beings.
Actually, I was reading a story earlier that someone did bring up a very good point. Blunt weapons in general are pretty frickin' stupid to use in Ruby. Because a blunt weapon is meant to break bones by having a greater strength than your opponent's endurance.
Were you reading Stupid Deaths in the 41st Millennium as well?
I was!
I was gonna say, give some credit where it's due. You're stealing this directly from the author of Stupid Deaths in the 41st.
I have followed Earth the King for far longer than you.
I'm aware.
Anyway, so point being,
that sounds
Cardin's
like a challenge.
Dumb. I've been following him since Mass Effect Origins V1, which was
understandable.
Like
have a nice day.
7 years ago now.
Again, understandable. Have a nice day.
Anyway, so
point is,
yeah,
the author is correct, and the point we're making, the point we're stealing from him, is also correct.
Yeah. Cardin's dumb. This is dumb. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because we haven't had that much Neo-Grim combat. I call him Neo-Grim because things have changed since the series began.
Okay. So what does Neo-Grim mean?
Basically how the non-Monty Ohm group interprets how Grim operate.
Okay. I don't think they've made any radical changes, but
a small knife to a unknown section of the neck. Really? Would that put it down? I was more of the idea that you had to deal debilitating damage to a Grim to kill it.
I was going to say, as far as we know, they do not have a traditional vital system. Like, take its head off, yeah, it dies. You brutalize its chest, it'll probably die, but...
I was under the impression they were just made of darkness.
There's darkness.
This isn't Kingdom Hearts, although it very well might be.
Still not quite sure what they are.
Look,
yeah,
I was, you know...
Point being, we're pretty sure they don't have a jugular, and if they do have jugulars, the assassins wouldn't know where their jugulars are, unless they've been killing Grim for like 100 years now.
My point is, like, saying they were mostly made of darkness is, like, they're just basically forms that have taken the forms. They're just, like, whatever the hell they are.
Yeah.
Taking the forms of things, not actually their vital systems. It's just a shape.
It's just, so, like, point being, stabbing it a little bit in the neck would be, like, not a debilitating or lethal injury, being that it doesn't actually need, like, blood or nerves.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we don't know anything about their physiology or their biology, but I can tell you this. We've never seen one die in one strike from... pretty sure. We have not seen one die from anything die in one strike from anything less than, like, a
execution.
Body-severing attack.
Like, execution level of attack, yeah. Yeah, so, blah, 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 oh, wow, 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 I'm gonna die, blah, 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 and blah, 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 I looked in astonishment, took on the army of Grimm with nothing but Blade and his stealth, looked at Ruby, picked her up, where should I drop you? Hi, I'm Ruby Rose, I didn't get your name, my name's Altair. Really, the Altair is speaking effectively English. Really.
He's been reincarnated.
Yep.
I'm sure he grew up here learning the language.
It's like in...
Yes, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Depending on the kind
Right,
that they're
yeah.
rolling with.
Right, yeah.
Because it said they're dying.
Right,
So
yeah.
I presume...
Oh my gosh, where were you? Meh training. Next trailer is the white trailer with Feet Ezio. This is my first time writing, so tell me if I get anything wrong. Do we even bother?
They didn't do anything specifically horribly wrong. I didn't see anything bad grammatically. I didn't see any really poor sentence structure.
Yeah, they just had really... They made some massive assumptions. They had a little bit of out of a character moment here with Ruby just suddenly being like, oh my god, I'm a nerd now. He cursed an and then he used all capitals fucking humongous Final Fantasy scythe.
Yeah, like you said, that'd really be the only thing to criticize.
There's really not much to criticize, and I'm really not up to the mood of putting in the effort to even fucking...
Yeah. I was gonna say, all we'd have to say is, don't just put in random all caps.
I will, however, ping this for Tuesday.
Yeah.
Alright, Fanfiction Friday. Scrolling. Where will it land? Nobody knows. What's this one? Mass Effect. No. Warcraft? Sure. Warcraft Halo. Let's live with it.
That's an...
Oh boy.
World of Warcraft, Fall of Dawn. After the destruction of the Ark and the defeat of both the Covenant and the Flood, the Master Chief and Cortana now find themselves on the mysterious world of Azeroth. How will the races of the Alliance and the Horde handle the arrival of a Spartan and his AI companion from
very
beyond
poorly.
the stars?
He can kill the vast majority of the threats on Azeroth pretty much single-handedly.
Not really, no.
No, this is Master Chief, not the fucking Doomslayer. Alright? Can't handle God.
He's got... So, we're gonna go with his cutscene armaments, which means he's got an assault rifle and a magnum pistol.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, that's a pretty fucking strong pistol.
Well, and he's also going to have the 2 SMGs.
Sure. Alright, so now let's assume that he has max ammo for all of these guns stored up his ass.
But here's the thing. The guns are not what make him dangerous in this universe.
Yep. Let me finish. So, all we have now is a absurdly strong, for a human, extremely well armored, completely normal human with highly advanced guns.
He's not a completely normal human.
But he is compared to Azeroth humans who can literally call upon the elements and shoot lightning from their fists.
But his bones are... And
like I said, he's an absurdly strong, extremely well-armored human, but he can't shoot lightning from his eyes, he can't shit blizzards, and he most certainly cannot burp firestorms.
But he can run he can run in excess of, I think it's 30 kilometers an hour. The top recorded Spartan is 80 kilometers an hour. I think most of them average 50
So he goes fast. He is Sonic. Congratulations, that still won't kill Deathwing. That still won't kill the Lich King.
But you know what it will let him do? It will let him sprint up to Deathwing with a sword or a hammer and hurt them a lot with just one attack. Like,
okay, yes, but then he gets punched by Deathwing and he's dead.
But he's not, because we see normal humans get punched by Deathwing and not die.
In what?
The raids. You get smacked by Deathwing all the time and don't die.
You cannot use game mechanics. No, get the fuck out.
It's a game. They're both games. But joking aside.
Yeah. It's...
That's assuming...
My problem was your statement that he can take most of the threats. He can't. He is still one person. He has been shown to get tired in the books. Like, actually fatigued. Like...
Yes, that is true. That does,
he can't take on the bug people. He can't 1v1 the Naga. He can't, like, kill Deathwing. He can't kill Arthas. He can't fight the Legion alone. Like, he is strong.
I should not have said
he is heavily armored. With a good enchanted weapon, and maybe even enchanting his armor, he'll be a massive threat and a massive strength for the races of Azeroth to use against the enemies they face. Again, however, he can't control the elements. He can't 1v1 dragons like frickin' Thrall can. He can't do a lot of the ridiculous shit.
Okay, to be fair, Thrall is the absolute and utter pinnacle of magic on Azeroth.
True, and Jaina's like right behind him. But still.
So yes, I was incorrect when I said he can handle most of the threats single-handed. But
this is a case of the mace. He is very good against human-sized threats with human levels of power. Not so much against Elder Gods. Not so much against Legion. Not so much against literally death.
I do not count the Elder Gods because no one can fight them. Not even Thrall could fight them.
Actually, we succeed in fighting him, like lore-wise. The races of Azeroth succeed in killing all 4 Elder Gods.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, speaking on an individual basis, no one can take those alone.
Yes, like I said, he, with proper armaments and enchanting, maybe they even enchant his friggin' armor or something, can probably lend a massive boost of power to the armies of Azeroth. But that's it.
Regardless,
still
we need to see how the author handles this.
Yeah.
So,
enough faffing about. Blah, 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 blah. First fanfiction, oh boy.
Did you like this one?
I did not.
Excuse me.
I'll drop it into the chat. Murder me. Alright. Blah, blah, blah. I read World of Warcraft Halo by Freedom Guard, so people might notice similarities. I'm using the first few chapters of Freedom's Guard to template his mind, blah, blah, blah. He okayed it. I asked him. Rest assured, the chapters will be their own. Alright, so it's... Okay, so, because we do actually teach people how to write sometimes,
very rarely.
Very rarely. This is actually one of those cases. When you're writing your first fanfiction, don't copy someone else's fanfiction.
Confirmed.
And I don't mean in a way of like, oh, that's a good idea, I want to write that idea. That's fine. Plan it out. Plan it out your way. Don't look at someone else's fanfiction and be like, oh, okay, so they did this, this, and that. Those sound like good ideas. I'll also do this, this, and that. And the reason why I say, you can still do this, this, and that, but you have to plan to do that. You can't just go, they did it, so I will. Because this is a very common occurrence, and I see a massive number of stories that say, oh, either A, this is my first fanfiction, and or, hey guys, I was inspired by blank story. You might notice a lot of similarities at first, but trust me, it's going to be its own thing. Those stories never get very far, because the author copies certain plot elements without thinking about those plot elements and their repercussions later on, and then screws themselves over and they lose inspiration to write the story and they drop it.
Yeah. I was just saying, if you go and you read a fan fiction and you're like, for something you like, and you're like, well, that's really bad, I want to write it better, great, do that. Or if you think that's a neat idea, I would like to try that, awesome. But don't
think before you write.
Time when people
is all I'm saying.
When people just randomly copy stuff because they're like, oh, that's neat, I want to write it. They're just rehashing what someone already wrote, and
because it's not their own idea, even if they're doing the exact same thing, because it's not their own idea, they didn't think about it all the way through.
Well, and not only did they not think about it all the way through, but because it's usually their first story, through no fault of their own, they're just going to write a worse version of what inspired them.
Basically, yeah.
Because, you know...
Now, to be fair, I have seen some stories out there that were like, I was inspired by this one shot of blank, and I've decided to make a long story out of it, and it was better than the one shot.
Yeah, because it has more thought and planning than the one shot.
Right. Or, you know, someone did like 10,000 words in like 3 chapters of a story, and then they dropped it, and then someone else picked it up. Yeah, no, like, I've seen better versions of original ideas from other authors. But
no, and I'm not saying
the author put their thought into it, and they actually were like, okay, so how am I going to work all this? Instead of just blindly copying it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's time to end this, John thought as he aimed his Spartan laser at a heavily damaged and insane guilty spark. No, you will not take this ring from me, my precious! Screamed Guilty Spark as he fired a beam at the Spartan.
Cease.
The chief ignored this and fired. The Spartan laser fire made a direct hit, causing Guilty Spark to violently convulse. Spark had just enough time to scream before he exploded in a flash of blue. The Master Chief turned and slowly walked to where Sergeant Johnson was lying. He knelt down and carefully moved Johnson to where the chief could see his face. I'm getting you out of here, the chief stated. Johnson gasped and shook his head weakly. No, you're not. The chief felt the weak grip of Johnson's hand on his armored glove. Don't let her go. Don't ever let her go. The sergeant coughed painfully, still holding on to the small flicker of life that was left in him. Send me out with a bang, Johnson wheezed. He laid his head down, closed his eyes, and with his last breath went still.
Congratulations, you somehow made something as cool and awesome as the death of Sergeant Johnson lame.
Yup, I was about to say. That was... I mean, it might have been the fact that I was monotone voicing it, but there was really no emotion in the words.
No, because I was ignoring you the entire time. You know what? I'm just gonna go rewatch the actual scene.
Sam, I need to go watch that actual scene.
That was a great scene. That was an absolutely fantastic scene.
Congratulations, author. You ruined it.
I'm gonna go watch the correct version. The good thing.
Blah, 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 not very emotional, blah, 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 30 years of fighting aliens, blah, 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 he still had Cortana, blah, 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 Johnson's body, Cortana looked with remorse, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 I am sorry, Spartan, the Arbiter said. Come with me, blah blah blah. Infection form was inside the Elite trying to eat the Arbiter, but the Arbiter pulled out his plasma rifle and shot it.
And this is just a little thing, but this is just a disagreement with how the author wrote this. Even when Johnson is literally dying, at no point does his voice sound weak. Does he sound tired? Yeah. Does he sound weak? No. No.
He's not weak at all. He's literally just fucking...
He's just like, I'm gonna take a nap now. Okay. On Send Me Out with a Bang, his voice sounds a little bit weak, but...
But that's only because he's literally dying as he says it.
I'm getting you out of here. No.
Yes. And then the most annoying escape level in all of the Halo games.
Don't ever let her go.
That one was such a...
Send me out. Let it pay.
Sneaky?
Sorry, I'm watching it.
You're not supposed to watch
You're
it.
not supposed to
Oh my
watch it.
God.
Anyway.
You're the one reading. Oh my God.
Anyway, it was a great scene. Fuck off. I showed it to everyone else too. Anyway, blah 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 blah. Even in death, your sergeant guides us. Blah blah blah. The dawn. Blah blah blah. Cortana's voice. Blah 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 blah. Thankfully, Gravemind wasn't yelling at him. It sounded sad. Defeat is simply an addition to the time. A sentence I never deserved. Throbbing pain in his head, but you imposed. Pain in his head stopped. Faint sensation of it left behind. Blah 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 blah. It's the final scene of Halo 3. As awesome as it is, you're making it look boring. Blah blah blah. Universe hurt him. Blah blah blah. Everything's
Now, I was
exploding.
gonna say, to be fair, part of that is not inherently the author's fault, because it is a video game, and we have seen it in a purely visual medium where it is expressed far more fully than it could ever be realized on paper.
This is a true enough fact. Blah blah
However,
blah.
this author is not doing
90%.
anywhere near as good a job as needs to be.
Right. Blah blah blah. Accelerator. Blah blah blah. Firing. Blah blah blah. Climb to the deck. If we don't make it, we'll make it. It's been an honor serving with you, John. Blah 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 blah. It's the final scene. Chief, can you hear me? I thought I lost you. When Halo fired, shook itself to pieces. The numbers of the arc, portal can sustain itself. North of our ship, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. It's finished. Blah blah blah. I drop a beacon. I'll miss you. Wake me when you need me. Blah 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 blah.
Literally,
blah.
it's just the first scene. It's
Yeah.
just the end of Halo 3.
Blah blah blah. Unknown space. Running diagnostics. She always called him John. She just called him Chief out loud. Like in the books, she thought of him as John all the time.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Kept track of time. It's been 1 year. It's near blah 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 blah. She had her dash shoot ever be rescued. Filed away a portion of her data on the Forerunner's flood in Halo onto the Dawn's computer. Wait, how is the Dawn's computer running? Isn't that like the front half of the ship that's still there?
Yeah, I was gonna say, there is no computer for the Dawn.
There's no reactor. Like, whatever she's running off of, I don't even know.
No, because they're in the back half of the ship. I believe
Right.
that contained the...
That
contained
was where the
ship's
reactor was, yeah.
So she has plenty of power.
Wait, so
It's
yeah,
just-
but the computers would be in the front of the ship, so yeah.
And even if they weren't, like...
Yeah, no. I said blah blah blah, blah blah blah, keeping lax, blah blah blah. Planet surface was nearing, it was habitable, blah blah blah, weighed her options, blah blah blah.
Okay, hold on a minute.
Supplies.
How is she checking that? Like, with what sensors is she checking
She
this
looked at it
information?
with her eyes. I don't know, man. Blah blah blah, no telling what would be on there. Blah, she made her decision, ran through the supply manifest, blah blah blah, data stores, data she could of the planet. There was 3 large continents, icy location in the north. Yeah, so blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Unique energy signatures were being picked up on the environment. Blah blah blah. Full inventory of the Dawn's supplies and the equipment that remained. She woke up John. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Something wrong. Blah blah blah. Wide space. Blah blah blah. I'm in your head. Blah blah blah. They're in the armory. Blah blah blah. He's picking up a bunch of guns. Alright, so let's see what we got here. We got a sniper rifle.
There's a lot of blah blah blah.
Energy sword.
In the armory of a UNSC ship?
The Arbiter left it behind for him.
But the Arbiter didn't know that they...
Blah, blah, blah.
The Arbiter had no knowledge that they were
they
not
had
going to make it off that ship.
apparently normal swords were there, too.
Why,
What?
though?
No, they didn't.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
No one in the UNSC was ever like, I'm going to try to kill an elite with a real sword.
Yeah, he
Bring me
grabbed
closer, I want to hit them with my sword.
basically, standard issue
Believe it or
combat
not,
knife.
the Marines in Halo have a bit more common sense than your average 40k commissar.
Blah, 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 standard issue combat knife.
Only when they're
blah,
not
blah,
holding a
blah,
rocket
HEV, blah, 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 angle
As you and I have
trajectory. Wait, angle of don't, what? How is she angling the ship if it's, like, basically dead in space?
She can't be...
You can't be.
I'm
Even
planning
if-
to angle the Dawn's trajectory upon descent, so it won't burn in atmospheric re-entry too badly.
Okay, A? Not possible. You are flying... You are, A, somehow flying half a ship. Now, even if Cortana somehow has access to the engines...
No, you're not the only one that's confused, gamer.
Welcome to part of this show, trying to figure this out. Then, after 5 minutes, going, no, this isn't right, and the author's an idiot.
Basically, that's what 90% of this show is.
Like, let's pretend for a minute that she can somehow give commands to the engines.
Sure.
The ship was cut in half, and it's been drifting in space for years.
Right.
Any kind of control mechanisms are going to be severely degraded.
Yeah, pretty much.
If they even still function at all. If they can even function without the main computer. Because, yes, the AIs could fly UNSC warships by themselves. That's absolutely something they could and did do. But the ships needed to be intact, and they need to be in the ship's main computer to do that.
What the fucking... What about the rest of the ship's internal systems? I plan to seal off the ship. There's enough power in the blast doors to do it, and there's enough residual power in the fusion reactors to seal remaining blast doors. Fusion reactors do not have residual power. Fusion reactors are very much a 0 or 1 case. There is no powering down state.
Either the fusion reactor is working, or it is not.
Yeah, this isn't a fission reactor. Fission reactors have dwindling power states. Fusion reactors do not.
I was gonna say, there's a reason in Halo that they were like, if a Spartan dies, we have to blow them up because we cannot afford to let the Covenant get this technology. Because this is something people don't tend to remember. The Spartan armor has successfully miniaturized fusion reactors in it that A, don't kill the hosts through excessive radiation poisoning.
B, have stronger shields than literally everything the Covenant has.
And C, are not prone to randomly exploding upon taking fire.
That is also a thing.
So, given that it's the Covenant and they're like, hey, these Spartans have good shields, we'll just steal them and put them on our most powerful things. Oh wait, we don't know how to reverse engineer things.
Basically.
No, they know how to reverse engineer a lot of stuff. That's how everything they do works, is reverse engineering. They don't know how to make new stuff.
Anyway, so, blah, 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 HEV, blah, 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 future HEV would be vital to his future operations once he got to the planet.
HEV?
Helldiver vehicle. High, entry vehicle.
No. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that makes no sense.
Yeah. I'm aware. Yeah. Yeah.
Helldiver pods are
One-shots.
one-time use. Now, even if there are multiple on the ship, you are crashing this ship. You might be able to control
Crashing
the
ship
landing
with no survivors.
Ha 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 ha. You're so funny.
Sorry.
You might be able to control the descent of this ship, but you're not getting this ship back into space. You're not getting it back into orbit. You're not even going to be able to get it in atmosphere.
Yeah, it's just... Anyway, so, blah, 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 blah. HEV fell out of the Dawn, and satellite drone from the Dawn launched a small, powerful satellite drone from the Dawn to act as a satellite for them in orbit. Okay. It carried solar power cells capable of recharging itself, so fuel was not an issue.
Okay, but what good does that do you?
It had an onboard computer maintain its functions while the Spartan AI were on the surface and would relay information to them easily enough. Once they set up shop, at least.
What information? Okay, so it can give you some topographical scans. That really isn't that helpful.
No. Blah, blah, blah.
Maybe he joins the Horde or the Alliance or whatever. And he can tell them about the enemy's troop movements. But so could mages.
Yeah.
And
technically shamans.
Well, shaman, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Enemy magicians can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Sure, they have a way to protect against that.
Yeah.
But even okay, so we know where the Alliance is, or we know where the Horde is. It's not like you can use that information to really do anything, because mass troop movements are very easily observed with magic, and they are going to be watching you. And if you are like, oh, well, we'll open a bunch of portals right on top of them, every mage in the opposing army is going to be like, oh, they're opening a crap ton of portals, we should get ready, guys.
Yeah. Anyway, blah, 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 HEVs would be vital, blah, 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 blah. Onboard monitors, many half the frigate plunged into the atmosphere, blah, 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 made out of contact with the atmosphere, and the second HEVs were already moving past, blah, 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 heat shielding, more than enough, wait, blah, blah, blah. The Spartan had no doubt the atmospheric heat outside of his HEV was enough to fry a human.
So what? That doesn't matter to a Spartan.
That's the point of using an HEV, because just dropping people into the atmosphere would kill them.
But again, he's
wow, author, you're so fucking smart.
Even still, he is a Spartan. He literally does not care.
He actually might be able to survive re-entry.
No, he is able to survive re-entry. Halo 2!
Oh yeah, you're right.
He literally survives re-entry, and it's not like that was the Chief getting lucky. Noble 6 does the same thing!
Yeah. Alright.
In fact, Noble 6 is even more astounding, because the Chief was at least hiding behind a bomb, which offered some, and I'm not saying it's a ton, but some minimal heat shielding. There was something between him and Massive Flame. Noble 6! George just picked Noble 6 up and threw him out of a Covenant camp. He just said, bye!
To be fair, Noble 6 apparently
Chief,
a few bones.
what are you doing? I'm giving them back their bomb.
Great scene. Great scene. Point is, Spartans can survive re-entry. Unassisted. And it's the landing isn't even fatal. The landing isn't even fatal.
As we saw in Halo 3.
Well, and not just in Halo 3, and not just with Noble 6, but we saw Spartans fall from high orbit. Point is, all of these Spartans when they were falling were at terminal velocity. This includes on Reach when all of the Spartans were sent to defend power generators for the Supermac guns. And their Pelicans got shot down, and they crashed into the forest, and they were just like, all right, it's gonna suck, and we're all probably gonna come out. You know, lots of people are gonna have like broken arms and broken legs, but that's not really that's gonna slow us down.
Anyway,
stop us.
Blah 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 blah. John wasn't nervous. He did this a lot of times. Blah 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 blah.
He did this a lot of times.
Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 HUVs blah blah blah, basically stuff we don't need to know. Now blah 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 author's note. So we got nothing out of that chapter besides their landing on Azeroth. Do you want to read the next chapter just to figure out what the hell he's gonna do?
We have 10 minutes left. Just go for it.
All right. Blah blah blah.
Okay, I just want to point out one problem at the very end of this.
Yeah.
The chief was confident that none of these scenarios would happen, as Cortana was very careful in her deployment of the HEVs and was more than up to handling this part of the mission. Right.
Yeah.
The problem with that is
re-entry.
Like all of the you think they just shot the ODSTs out of a cannon? Just
yes.
let
Nailed
go.
It. Boom.
No. They all had wonderfully and intelligently plotted courses by either dedicated dumb AIs or smart AIs.
Yep. Anyway, re-entry's hell. Blah blah blah. HEVs smashing into the ground. Blah blah blah. Crashing into the lake. Blah blah blah.
Okay, so now if there are not mages and like an army immediately investigating this, I'll know it's not the Warcraft universe. Because if this was the Warcraft universe, you can darn well bet that someone would have gone... Someone somewhere is getting a mission from a quest giver going, a star fell from the sky. I want you to investigate that. I don't care which game it is. It's from
more like Thrall and fucking Varian would be like, hey, so big ass shit just fell from the sky. We want it, and we don't want the other side to have it. And they would send like a detachment or something. To go.
Well, it's either that, or the two sides go, we have no idea what that was, so we're forming a joint expedition to figure out what it was, and if it's going to kill us all.
More or less, yeah, pretty much.
It just depends on who's in charge of the horde.
These trees are enormous, blah, blah. Oh, so they landed in, Stranglethorn Valley.
Yep.
Or is it the prehistoric pit? What's that called?
No, it's not.
It starts with a U. Starts with a U, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, that place. Anyway, you know what I mean. I think it's that place actually, because it's both large trees and a pool. A lake. So it's okay. Actually, it'd be either night elves at that point because large trees. So yeah, large trees would either be night elves or the prehistoric.
To be fair, we don't know when this is set. It could be sun elves.
Unlikely. I'm pretty sure this is going to be because it is Alliance and Horde. Remember?
Oh yeah. Okay. It could be blood elves.
Maybe.
Because remember, there is the undead scar, but the rest of the forest is okay.
Yeah. Okay. So blah blah blah. Took out his sniper rifle from the HEV, ammo packs, and stored them on his pouches. Once he had his weapon, he moved on.
So when are we going to get to the Warcraft part of this Halo Warcraft?
We landed on Azeroth.
Oh, we just did?
No.
Okay.
Blah blah blah. He got something on his motion tracker. He's being followed. Blah blah blah. They're not from the Covenant. Oh, Night Elves, called it. So anyway, yep, blah blah blah, following the Spartan, blah blah blah, Children of the Star.
Okay, I'm back. I doubt my presence was even missed.
Nope. Blah blah blah. They are the night elves. They're following the chief. Blah blah blah. Night elves. Blah blah blah. Night elves. Sentinels. Blah blah blah. Patrolling, and they found his ship falling. Blah blah blah. Druids suggested they should investigate. It was not an infernal like they feared, but it wasn't even generating fel energy. Blah blah blah. Massive behemoth of a being came into view.
Okay, hold on a minute.
Okay, to be fair, he was like 8 feet tall.
Even still, they've seen much taller.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like,
blah blah blah. I think the point of the being is that it's massive for a human because it looked like a human with green and black skin.
Yeah, no, he was only in the armor. In the armor, he's only 7'2".
Okay.
He's only 7'2", and
that's still fairly tall for humanoids.
But it's not. It's just like, oh, he's taller than most people, but it's not.
Yeah, the massive behemoth is a massive overstatement for the Warcraft verse. A human-shaped behemoth, really? Okay, concern and dread, she had never seen anything like this. Blah blah blah, burning legion, blah blah blah, anything she had ever seen. The weapons it carried were nothing like she had ever seen before. It looked like the guns the Alliance used, but it looked completely different.
Okay, no, then it does. That's the thing.
What?
That's the problem. The Chief's guns are so far removed.
No, he's only using a sniper rifle, keep in mind. So it does have a barrel, it does have a stock, so it does look marginally like a musket rifle. Like, it's not like it's shotgun where it's not very clear what it is, or pistol. Snipers are quite distinct in terms of stock, barrel.
Okay, true.
I'm not sensing any fel energies from him, but how can we be certain? He might just be a minion in the Legion.
What? Where are you getting that from, guys? We don't sense any fel on him. Well, he could still be a minion of the Legion. No, he couldn't. You don't sense any fel.
Yeah, we must alert everyone. It might be attacking. It might be a mistake. Blah blah blah. Little do they know, their entire conversation was being monitored by the Spartan. Blah blah blah. He had super hearing. Blah blah blah. Cortana, can you translate what they're saying? Negative. Their language is completely foreign.
Alright, at least we're not having any of that nonsense.
Yep, John was afraid of that. First contact scenario. Blah, 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 blah. Good idea, we can at least see who's tailing you. And with that, the Spartan ran at breakneck speeds. This was a light jog, but everyone else was like, oh my god. They were all shocked when he started running away. They tried to chase after it, but he just vanished. Who are they? They look like purple elf things with tribal markings, blah blah blah. They looked like warriors, blah blah blah. They were using bow and arrows, blah blah blah.
Okay, so Sneaky, I'm on the forum, because unfortunately there's nothing in the WoW wiki, but the average human in Warcraft, the average human is 6 foot.
Okay, so yeah, that's,
so he's
barely
even being 7'2", it's like, okay, he's tall, but it's like that's just the far end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
especially given. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the fact that he's covered in honestly, the average height for an orc is 7 foot. They probably, and because of the armor he's wearing, all green, and how bulky he is, they probably would have mistaken him for an orc.
Some sort of mechanical orc, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Or if they, I mean, even if it's not that, the Worgen are 6'7". Now, they wouldn't mistake him for a Tauren. Maybe a troll. Trolls are 7'1". Blood elves are 6 foot, on average. They might have mistaken him for a blood elf.
Honestly, I'm just surprised they aren't like, what is this mechanical contraption? Because it's normal humanoid size, apparently, for WoW.
Well, I mean, okay, come on. We've seen how big the shoulder pads are.
That's what I'm saying. You know, maybe why aren't they like, oh, this is just a machine?
Either they'd be thinking that it's a machine, or it's someone in some kind of fancy new...
I mean,
enchantment.
like, Nomenegon isn't anything new. Like, humanoid robots are a thing in WoW. Obviously, it's not until Northrend that we get, like, actual humanoid-looking robots, but there are humanoid, as in bipedal, 2 arms, 2 legs robots.
Well, and if you covered, even the early versions of them, if you covered them in armor to cover up the, you know, if you covered up all, like, the exposed circuitry and crap, it would have looked like a person, obviously,
Yeah.
so it moved or walked or talked, but...
But yeah, no, point being, they should think it's a machine before they think it's Legion, and they should think it's
a
non-sentient before they think it's human. But
Like,
they're referring to it as a human behemoth.
They shouldn't even think it's human.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Genetic mutation. Armor and weapon looks to be 10th century BC.
What?
And AD eras.
Hold
Armor
on a
and
minute.
weaponry looks like they are using what was used during early 10th century BC and AD. You realize there is 4,000 years between those two.
Now, maybe...
2,000 years? 2,000 years. There's 2,000 years between the two of those.
Now, if he'd been meeting... Here's the thing. If you'd had him crash in Dwarven or Alliance land, or even Gnome territory, you could easily get away with that statement. Easily. But you didn't. You put him in Night Elf territory. And Night Elves don't use guns.
They're using fucking bows, man. They're using fucking bows. That's fucking BC level tech there, man.
Master Chief gets hit with a bow and he barely even registers. Just like bounces off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh yeah, no. It is quite likely that a bow, even one pulled by a Night Elf, just a normal bow shot, would not
I am
generate
actually
enough
fairly
energy.
certain, because it is like whatever it's called, Neo Titan Steel or whatever the fuck it's called, Neo Steel or whatever. I'm fairly certain Master Chief could eat a ballista bolt point blank and not have a scratch on his armor.
The armor would be fine. The Chief would, however, suffer massive internal contusions. If you're talking a ballista bolt.
Considering that he's fucking fallen from space before, the kinetic gel inside the armor, because that is a
almost
thing.
killed him.
Remember,
I want to point out, that almost killed him.
yeah. Remember, the kinetic gel is a thing.
I know, that's what lets him survive falling from space.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think... I think at best he would be launched backwards by a ballista bolt. But I don't think even that, because keep in mind, he does weigh like a ton or something with that armor on.
Yeah, in the armor, yes. Well, I was gonna say, and my point would be, like, in addition to all of this, like, 10th century BC and AD, That makes no sense, man.
No,
it just makes no sense.
That's just a failure. That's just a failure on the author's part.
And the problem is, I feel like you wrote that line when you had him crashing in Alliance territory.
Anyway, so blah blah blah. Okay, so he crashed in Ashenvale because orcs appeared.
Wait, but night elves. Wait, where is Ashenvale? Night elves and orcs?
Ashenvale is where Warsong Gulch is, bro.
Right. Look, it's been a real long time since I played.
Understandable.
It's been like 6 years for me.
I know. I didn't devote nearly as much time to memorizing that map.
Okay, look, I really enjoyed Warcraft. Fuck off.
I know. I'm just saying, I didn't devote that much. The only time I had a map memorized was if I was playing the Horde and I was in Blackrock. Because I needed to know where all the trainers were. Because I wasn't going to waste another 30 minutes going up and down those levels.
Yeah. Green-skinned humanoids who were huge and were nearly as tall as John, in and out of his armor.
Okay, that's stupid. Without his armor, John is only 6'2". Hold on, let me check.
They appear to have long beards and a pair of lower tusks. So these are trolls. Flat noses, blah blah blah. The new group was completely different. They were different armor. They carried axes and spears, which looked
I'm sorry.
sharp.
My apologies. He's 6'10" without his armor. He's 7'2" in the armor.
Right.
So while that statement in and of itself does make sense, there's really no point in making it, since in or out of his armor there is very little height difference
in terms of comparison. Some carried axes, others had robes. Other creatures were huge, two-headed monster that carried. So ogres and trolls working together?
Seems good.
Well, and not just that, it's going to be an ogre magi, because it's a two-headed one.
New arrivals, hammer-like tattoo. Orcs.
Are you trying to tell me that the Horde symbol looks like a hammer? Just because their symbol is red and is vaguely hammer-shaped doesn't mean they're communists, buddy.
I'm trying to think of a clan. Doomhammer clan? I don't know what clan this is. What are they? Orcs, the woman shouted in alarm, conveniently in English translation.
Okay, hold on. Someone's got a list of the clan. No, I don't care about the dwarves. I don't care about...
And now identified orcs, raised their weapons. Orcs using spears? Trolls using spears makes sense. Orcs using spears?
Okay. Okay, hold on. I guess they'd be part of the Twilight Hammer clan. That is one of the listed clans.
Okay, I guess they're Twilight Hammer.
Main clans are Blacktooth, Black Rock, Bleeding Hollow, Bone Chewer, Burning Blade, Dragon Maw, Frost Wolf, Laughing Skull, Moknathal. Oh, that one's mostly half ogres. Shadow Moon, Shattered Hand, Storm Reaver, Thunder Lord, Twilight Hammer, and of course, good old Warsong. So
yeah, no, that's just straight up freaking Twilight Hammer, I guess then.
Well, I mean,
the orc then roared out in English.
No, because it says it kind of looks like a hammer. Here's the problem with that, Sneaky. I'm gonna just infect 9K. Go look at that. Go look at that. That's the Twilight Hammer clan symbol.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll find out in a second. The orc shouted out.
Picture of it.
Yes, it did. The orc shouted out, "Kill the pathetic night elves." The Spartan watched as the groups fought each other. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah. They're killing the night elves. The night elves are killing the orcs. Reinforcements came to assist the orcs. The Night
Hold
Elf.
up, Orc reinforcements are getting there before Night Elf reinforcements.
Yeah, apparently. Night Elf men started to resist, and to the shock of the Spartan, and men were armed with staves that unleashed tornadoes. Incredible, breathe Cortana, not willing to be outdone. The orcs unleashed their fell magic onto the battlefield. Fucking fell magic? That's not Twilight. Twilight Hammer is dedicated to the old gods.
Also, the orcs don't use fell.
Well, warlocks, they do.
Let me clarify that. Most of the orcs don't use fell, and warlocks aren't even that popular.
Yeah, I know.
They're like, hey,
I'm aware.
What happened the last time we used that?
I'm just really confused now to what clan this fucking is, because it's not Twilight Hammer anymore, because Twilight Hammer does not use fell. Period.
I was gonna say, they have shamans, and that's it, and they don't even like their shamans much sometimes.
Yeah, because they draw upon the powers of the void. Which, by the way, was the most retarded lore reveal I've ever seen.
What, the old gods being the power of the void?
No, the Void Walkers being the void.
Oh, yeah, no, that was dumb.
That was so dumb. I saw it in a fic I was reading recently, and I was like, what are they talking about with this? So I googled it to see if this was like made up by the author or something, and I was just like, I was reading the whole lore on this reveal in the recent expansion, and I was just like, this is the dumbest shit I've read in a long time.
Yeah, no, it was so bad, we actually had to go and look at the actual scene from the actual game, because it was so bad and boring.
So anyway,
That's a
blah,
new level.
blah, blah, wait his options, blah, 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 we're going in, blah, 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 I was afraid you say that, who we're gonna help, started shooting at the orcs. Twilight's Hammer! The Twilight Hammer clan orc warlock. So I was right about being Twilight Hammer. There is no warlocks in the Twilight Hammer. They are servants of the void. They have always been servants of the void. They have never had warlocks. Period.
Like we said, they don't even much like the shamans.
Like, even before the whole Void Walker reveal as being the real reason the Burning Legion exists, they didn't have warlocks. Like, apparently Blizzard has been planning this for a really frickin' long time. Anyway, so, blah blah blah, another shot rang out, killed another warlock, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, more warlock shot, all the groups were silent and stunned. Another series of roars that ripped through the legs of another orc. Another ping sounded out as an explosion occurred. Everyone was crying out in pain and shock. They had lost their unknown glory. They were attacked by orcs, and now something killing the orcs. The Spartan was carrying a massive rifle that made the dwarves of iron forged rifles look like toys. Blah blah blah. They roared in anger as they charged at him. He threw the rifle away and unloaded another one. He has 2 sniper rifles? Why the hell would he carry 2 sniper rifles?
Okay, even pretending the chief would do that, he would not just throw one away.
The blah blah blah, the Spartan began to shoot at them with his assault rifle now. When did he have an assault rifle? Literally, that was never mentioned. Blah blah blah. Tried to cut down the Spartan, they didn't get far. So orc was sent flying backwards, blah blah blah. Spartan was deadly in close combat, reloaded his assault rifle while taking out his combat knife. I'm sorry, I didn't realize he gained an extra set of arms.
also pulled out.
Is this a case of Naruto again, where Naruto dressed himself, read from a book, and kept his arms by his side?
Yes.
Anyway, so apparently he pulled out his knife while reloading his assault rifle. And then, blah, 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 threw his knife at an orc. Good job throwing your melee weapon, you freaking moron.
I want to point out...
Wait. The Spartan turned and fired his gyro pistol at another orc.
Hello?
I'm just gonna go. I'm tired. And everyone's yelling.
Okay.
Well, it's 9:13, ladies and gentlemen, so we have actually gone over what we said we would.
Whew, oh, wow.
Again.
Oof, wow. Wow.
I hated this.
Wow. Okay, so, Spartan, kills all of the orcs, with every single one of his weapons, revealed in the first second.
Alright, I'm
And,
leaving. You guys have fun with the wrap up.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's wow. Okay. This was awful. Right there.
I legitimately want to kill myself.
That was the thing. Okay. Well then. As for the wrap up, thank you, one and all, for joining us today, whether you're here live or watching the recording. As you can tell by my extreme state of confusion, we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
We're done.
We'll be back.
We'll be back on Friday, as
Friday.
the schedule continues.
Friday, 7 p.m.
To
Eastern
9.
Standard Time.
Yep. You know, I say it every week, but for some reason, I continue to get surprised. And for those of you who may not remember, what I say every week is, there's always more, and it always